We bring in Steve Phillips, the co-host of the Leadoff Spot on MLB Network Radio. And Steve, my goodness, it's always a party when the Mets and the Braves get together. What's your take on what Alonso said and how the Braves responded?
Yeah, I think Pete Alonso should respect his elders. I think that's probably what he did with Bryce Elder on the mound right there. Look, don't bait the Braves. I mean, look, I told John Schuerholz and Bobby Cox when my Mets teams, chased their Braves teams for 6 years and they were on that great run of success with 14 division titles. I told them if I had to pick them out of a police lineup, I'd have to have them turn around because I only know what they look like from behind because we never led them. So the Mets don't, Alonso hadn't homered in Atlanta in a long time. And so, the Mets right now need to get themselves going, and they need to take advantage of these head-to-head matchups. Remember, last year, it was the head-to-head matchups, the 19 games that the Braves had against the Mets that allowed them late in the year to come back, tie them in the standings, but pass them in the tiebreaker to lead the division. This shouldn't be about talking at all. This has got to be about going out there and playing. And the Mets need to get the game going. Now, maybe there's some part of creating some energy for the Mets against the Braves that might get them going a little bit. Something seems to be missing where they don't bring that same energy from day to day. They need to get things going. If Alonso's going to get fired up out of this, then so be it. But do not get the Braves going because they have more overall talent on that roster, and you don't want them to elevate their play against you if you're the Mets.
Yeah, and they got hot at the right time last year. Just first place in the division, 8 games, and they ended up beating the Mets, of course, at the end of the season. I do like the way that Bryce Elder handled it. He said, if I hit one on the concourse, I might holler as well. But the Braves, as we mentioned, get the final laugh. Okay, bad news out of Arlington, Steve. Jacob deGrom out for the remainder of the season for the better part of next year. How do the Rangers handle this moving forward?
Well, first, I think the big sigh of relief you hear is from the Mets fans and from Steve Cohen and the Mets organization that they didn't go further in trying to bring him back. This is devastating. You saw the emotions out of deGrom. There's always this notion that deGrom doesn't really love baseball, that he doesn't care that much. He sure acted like a guy who cared a lot, who really feels like he's letting down his teammates. It's obviously disappointing. He's one of the best pitchers in the game, but clearly there was something wrong. I mean, this has been going on. Well, my experience is when a pitcher over time keeps having the same injury, where there's smoke, there's fire. And so I think for the Rangers, they have to set them aside. And, it's unfortunate when you're hurt like this, you become invisible. If you can't help, then you're going to be on the side. Now he'll be able to go home and recover a little bit, watch his newborn baby take first steps and all. He'll be back at the end of next year. But in the meantime, this team's 40-20. They're playing great baseball. They've been really good without Jacob deGrom, but it may mean at the deadline they're going to look to add another starting pitcher. A guy like Marcus Stroman could be a good fit there. We mentioned Shohei Ohtani a little bit earlier, you did. And so I think you're going to see the Rangers be very aggressive at the deadline.
Yeah, the Rangers could certainly use another starter. They could certainly use some bullpen help as well. The Rangers, though, 3.19 earned run average for the starters, the second best in the bigs, despite deGrom's absence. Okay, Alek Manoah. And Steve, you were the first one to bring this up, that last year's Cy Young finalists are not having the best season in 2023. The outlier there being Max Fried, who's on the IL. But Alek Manoah gets demoted to the Florida Complex League because of his struggles. Is that too harsh?
No, I think it's exactly the right move. This isn't a punishment at all. They're trying to protect him. His last start, where he faced 9 batters in the first inning, got one of them out, gave up 6 runs. He came out of that game and he looked done. He looked spent. He looked like he had hit rock bottom. And that's the time when players become the most open to the suggestions of change and be able to make adjustments. And what this does, it takes them out of the spotlight. It takes them down to where there are no reporters. Nobody reports the scores in the papers of the Gulf Coast League or the Complex League games. There's not going to be TV cameras, and he can just get back to liking baseball. They have to rebuild his ego and his psyche. Emotionally, they have to rebuild him. Mentally, they have to rebuild him. Mechanically, they have to get him back on track. And physically, he needs to loosen his upper body. Whatever strengthening work he did, he got tight with his upper body and his arm speed slowed down. So he's got a lot of work to do, and it's not going to get fixed overnight.
Yeah, he looked devastated in the dugout after he couldn't even get out of the first inning. 0-6 with an 8.10 earned run average, Steve, in his last 7 starts. Okay, Elly De La Cruz reaches base 3 times in his Major League Baseball debut for the Reds. Despite a grand slam from Freddie Freeman, the Reds come back and beat the Dodgers. What did you think about De La Cruz's debut?
He's amazing. You know what I loved is that he walked twice. I mean, here's a young guy waiting for that opportunity, 21 years old. He would have every reason to be overexcited, but he walked twice. I mean, the ability to be patient at the plate, to not try to do too much. And here's the thing. His double that he ripped into the gap was 112 miles per hour. That's the hardest hit ball via StatCast this year of any Cincinnati Reds player. And then legging that out, he ran 30.5 feet per second, which is the fastest time for any Cincinnati Reds player. Their best player just got there right now. They played him at third base, Matt McLean at short, the left side of the infield. I'm telling you, the Cincinnati Reds, this isn't their year, and maybe not next year, but they've got a core of young talent right now. Jonathan India, Tyler Stevenson, young veterans, but Spencer Steer at first base. He played some outfield yesterday. With the young pitchers they have, Andrew Abbott, who came up through 6 shutout innings, they're really, really going to be good in a couple of years. Look out for the Cincinnati Reds. I'm buying stock in Cincinnati Red baseball.
All right, you heard it here. Steve Phillips likes what the Reds have for the future. We appreciate your insight as always, Steve. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Alanna.